Hey guys, I wanted to run through some audio features in Adobe Audition and Adobe Premiere. And I'm not really an audio guy per se. You know, I get into some audio, but mostly I'm into photos and video. That said, there are some things you should know about with audio, especially things like noise reduction. And I wanted to start in Adobe Audition and show how to do noise reduction in here. And this is an example of a noisy clip. Let's just play it.
You just do the work? Okay. So around here, we're not going to do that.
Okay, you can hear how noisy it is. You know, this section right here especially, that's all ambient room noise. And what happened here was I had the presenter mic'd up with a wireless lavalier mic. She took a break and turned her mic off and forgot to turn it back on. So a lot of this audio I got back was like this. Now this audio is from the shotgun mic that I had on the camera. Whenever I do recordings like this, I'll always have a lavalier mic as a primary mic and then a shotgun mic as a secondary mic in case something like this happens where she forgets to turn her mic back on. So I had to fix the audio, you know, and it's really noisy.
Absolutely cool. Thanks.
But fortunately, there are ways to clean this stuff up, and Audition does a nice job with this. So let me show you how this works. The first thing you want to do is what's called capturing a noise print. And I think people often just select the entire clip and say, that's the noise print. The entire thing is noisy. Well, that's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to tell Audition the noise print is just a section that's noisy. I want you to use that as a reference point for how much and what noise to remove. So let's do that. Let's say, well, here's the noise. And over here is a good example. That's all noise. So let's just say, okay, Audition, I want you to take that noise, go to Effects, Noise Reduction, and say Capture Noise Print. So use that as the noise print or as the representation of the noise I want to get rid of. Okay, so it's done that. Now let's select the entire clip, so the entire clip is affected. And we will go back to Effects, choose Noise Reduction, and say Noise Reduction Process. Okay. Now this window opens up. You might look at this window and go, ugh, God, what is all this stuff? I don't know what this stuff is. That's what I did when I first saw this, but it's not so bad once you kind of realize what's going on here. Okay, so what you're looking at is here's your noise reduction. Here's how much you're going to reduce the noise by, and then there are some advanced settings, which we'll get into here in a minute. So let's go ahead and turn noise reduction all the way up. Okay, and we'll reduce the noise by about 10 dB. That's fine for now. And let's turn these all back down to 0, just so we default these out. Okay, and we'll play that.
You just do the work? Okay.
You know, it's still a bit noisy,
around
so I can change this maybe a little bit higher.
here, we're not going to do that.
Okay, but what I can also do is start playing with these advanced settings down here. Smoothing is whenever you do noise reduction, there's artifacting. There's some weird warbly sounds. It almost sounds like when you're talking to somebody on a cell phone, that kind of thing. Smoothing helps with that. We can crank this way up. Spectral decay rate, it's another way of reducing the noise. The catch here is that if you do it too much, it kind of gets like a lot of reverb. It gets a lot of reverb in the playback. Precision factor is, it's the quality of the noise reduction. The catch is, and actually the mouse over tells you, so it says, you know, higher values deliver better quality but increases processing time. So you can crank this up, but the catch is it's going to kind of tax your processor. Okay, transition width is basically, Audition is going to determine what's noise in this clip and what's not, and the transition width is how smoothly it goes from those non-noisy to the noisy clips. Okay, so it's almost like a little, you know, transition. So we can crank that up a little bit. Let's play that.
No, I just do the work.
You just do the work?
Seeing what people do.
Okay. So around here, we're not going to do that.
So it does sound pretty good, you know, and you can maybe take this down a bit.
Absolutely cool. Thanks.
Okay. Now, one thing you can do also is maybe you're wondering, well, what did it sound like to begin with again? I forgot. So let's turn this off.
Thank
You can
you.
hear it.
No, I just do the work.
You just do the work?
It's pretty noisy. Let's turn this back on.
I've seen what people do.
Okay.
It's a
So
lot- it's a-
around here,
And it's a lot better. It's much better. Okay, we can just say apply. And boom, our clip is now noise reduced. And what you can see also here is that, this is a visual representation of what the clip sounds like visually, what it looks like. This is a waveform. This was the noise, these kind of flatline areas were the noise. And if I undo that noise reduction, you can see how much bigger they are. If I redo it, it's much lower in that area. Another thing in Audition, if you want to crank the levels up real fast, there's a little slider over here. You can crank these up real quick.
No, I just do the work.
you just do the work?
I've seen what people do.
Okay. So around here, we're not going to do that.
Okay, so that's usable audio from some audio that really was pretty much useless, and it's usable because I was able to reduce the noise in Audition, which is nice. It's a really good thing to know about if you have access to Audition. So the next thing I want to show is in Premiere. A couple things in here. One is something they call conforming. Premiere conforms audio and video tracks into a format that Premiere can more easily and quickly access. So let me show you how this works and why it's important to know about it. So if I bring a file in, let's bring this file in. This is a clip shot with a Sony video camera. It has audio and video embedded in it, and let's take a look. So we bring it in, and you'll see right down here, Adobe is conforming the audio and video. And what that means is that it's converting the file into formats it can easily access and quickly access. So where does Adobe put this stuff? If you go up to Edit and choose Preferences and go to Media, you'll see the default location is under C, in my case, C, Users, Forward App Data Roaming, Adobe Common. And then down here, the database, same place. So let's go take a look at that. I actually have the file, or I have the folder opened up. And here it is. And here's the files that Adobe created. So we have these newly created conform files. Okay. Now, the thing is with this can get really full really fast, and the files can get very large. And if you look, I have some files in here that are over 1 gig in size. It's great that Adobe does this so it can quickly and easily play these files back. But if you're not aware that this stuff exists, this stuff can pile up and pile up. Next thing you know, you've got hundreds of gigs being used up on your computer without even realizing where the stuff is or why it's there. So you can clean this out. If you go back to the settings, there's a button here that says Clean, and we can push Clean. Now, so what Clean does is it looks at your computer and your projects, and it goes, okay, well, anything where the media has been deleted or moved, I can go ahead and clean out these reference files or these conformed files, because obviously you're no longer using them. So if the media is still there for projects you worked on in the past and you push Clean, it's not going to delete these conformed files because it thinks, okay, well, you still need access to these. So if you want to use the Clean button, you want to first delete or back up the old data from these old projects first. However, having said that, if you wanted to just delete this stuff manually and go in this folder and delete them, it's actually okay. It won't affect your project, other than Adobe will have to recreate this cache, all this conform media will have to be recreated, and it can take some time. I mean, some of these files, if you have a hour-long clip you put into Premiere, it may take quite a bit of time to conform that media. But you can, like I said, you can delete this stuff out if necessary. So that's a good little tip on conformed audio tracks. And the next thing I wanted to show was, if you bring a clip in like this, let's take a look. This is actually the footage. This is the clip of that same day of the stuff I shot, or the stuff I showed in Audition. This is the same exact footage, only in this case her lavalier mic is on.
It mandates to us that
if we are working.
So it sounds good. The problem is if I drop this into my timeline, and let's go ahead and make a new timeline. If you drag your clip to the new item right here, new item icon, it's going to create a sequence that's all the correct settings you want in terms of resolution, things like that. So if you drop this on this little icon here, it says, oh, this clip was shot at 1280 by 720. So I'll go ahead and make the sequence the correct size, the correct aspect ratio, all that good stuff. So that's a good little tip on making a new sequence. Just drag this to the new sequence icon, and it makes a new sequence for you with all the correct settings. Anyway, the problem I have is that Premiere has put this clip in my timeline with only one track of audio. It's made one stereo track, and within this stereo track, I have the lavalier mic on the left channel and the shotgun mic on the right channel, all in one track. So if I play this,
Exposure to hazardous chemical.
left speaker sounds great, right speaker sounds bad. I'd really prefer to have, one track of audio with just the lavalier mic in it, one track of audio with just the shotgun mic in it. That'd be ideal. Unfortunately, Premiere disagrees with me and has done this to me. So how do we get around this? Well, let's delete this out of the timeline. Let's go back to my clip. Let's right-click on the clip, choose Modify, and go to Audio Channels. Okay. Now what you're going to see is Adobe has interpreted this footage as just having, correctly I suppose, left and right audio, but it decided to put it all into one track. That's not what we want. We want two tracks. So let's click up here, type in 2, and now we have two tracks. That's good. They're both stereo tracks, which is good. And what I'd really like to have is an audio one track, which is stereo. I'd like to have both left and right be just the left channel from this source clip. And then the right, which is audio track 2, I want to have just the right channel from this audio. So what's going to happen is, when I put this in my timeline, I'll have one track that's only the left channel on both left and right speakers, and then audio track 2 is just the right channel, which is the shotgun mic from the audio, in both speakers on audio track 2, if that makes sense. Let me just put it in the timeline so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see, okay. Let's drop this in, and you'll see what's happened. Okay, so now look, you have, it's a little bigger. You have audio track 1, which is in both left and right speakers, the lavalier mic. Let's mute audio track 2 and play this.
We're dealing with occupational exposure to
Right.
hazardous chemicals.
That's exactly what I wanted. I want to manipulate her lavalier audio and have it coming out of both left and right speakers when I play this back. And I wanted to separate the shotgun audio and put it in its own track because I probably just don't want to use it at all. Maybe I want to use it for some reason, but for the most part, I'm never going to use this audio. So I can separate it out and have it just be completely isolated. So that's how you do it. You just right-click your clip, go to Modify, and choose Audio Channels. All right. That's a great tip for anyone who shoots, these situations where, like I do, I'll have, a lavalier mic and I'll have a shotgun mic, and the camera interprets them as one channel is the shotgun, one channel is a lavalier. You bring it into your editing software and it goes, oh, left and right. Let's make a stereo track with left and right audio, and that's what happens. So that's how you fix it. The last thing I wanted to show was, there's a couple ways of adjusting audio in Premiere. You're probably all familiar with keyframes, but here it is. You can make new keyframes. Make sure you're on track keyframes, and that's the new keyframe button. You're probably familiar with this, but if you add keyframes, you can interactively adjust, raise and lower channels, or raise and lower audio levels throughout the clip. So the audio will drop as it gets down here. Let's do this really dramatically here, so you can see.
CFR, I'm sorry, is telling us that this is...
Okay. All right, so you've created keyframes, but now you want to adjust the levels for the entire track, kind of separate from all these keyframes. You say, I want the overall level of this clip to be louder. And how would we do that? Well, the way you do it is you go to Window, and you choose Audio Clip Mixer. Okay. What this allows you to do is adjust the levels for the overall clip. So if you want this clip in your timeline to be much louder, you can just go in here and go, all right, well, let's make this entire clip, much louder,
Consultation and medical exams.
or much quieter.
Hazardous identification.
So that's on top of any keyframing you've done. This is how you adjust the overall levels of the channels in Premiere. You can do it with A2. Really, as many tracks as you have in here, you can adjust them. Now, this is not how you would adjust the overall sequence levels. It's just individual clips. So if I was to drop this clip in here again, you'll see if I go over here, this kind of defaults back to 0. So it's a clip-dependent audio mixer. That's why it's called the audio clip mixer. But that's how you would do it on top of any keyframing. Okay. So that's it. That's all I had to show for audio. But I hope this helped you guys. Talk to you soon.